I tested the top 6 AI language learning apps to see which is best for improving spoken English. And there were some surprises. Now, my rule was that all of these apps should have some free, usable AI practice features without needing to start a trial or put in a credit card. That was my rule. The tools I tested are Speak and Learn English, Praktika, TalkPal, Hablo, Hallo, and Speak. And I'm comparing these to ChatGPT. Are they as good as using ChatGPT with custom prompts to improve your spoken English? I'll be looking at the overall interaction, feedback quality, and the learning experience. Before we get started, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe, of course. Let's start with Speak. All right, so this is Speak. I had to say I'm a native Spanish speaker if I want to learn English. It doesn't let you say you're a native English speaker who wants to learn English. I guess that makes sense. I guess. But what if I want immersion? What if I want to have everything in English and learn English, right? Then I don't want to have Spanish there at all. I want to build my English brain. Everything should be in English. Anyway, that's a small gripe. So let's go down here to Free Talk, and I can do a trial, but there are some things I can do for free, and there is a limit, of course. But let's do this one. Okay, we have a phrase book here. Hi, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
How's it going?
I'm from Mexico City.
It's a little bit robotic, but I guess that's okay. Now let's start the interaction. Continue where I left off. Let's start over.
Hi, I'm Robin. You're Amy's friend, right? How's it going?
Hi. Yes, I is Amy friend. Good, going good. And you're? You have to click that when you're done, I guess.
I'm great, thanks. Where are you from?
I'm from the Canada. I born in the Canada, in the forest, raising by wolf.
Wow, that's interesting. Which part of Canada are you from?
I was born in forest, raising by wolf. I don't know exactly where. And one day I was take a long walk and arrive in the city, and people thinking that I should be raised by people instead. Very sad. I miss my family.
That sounds like a tough story. I'm sorry to hear that. What do you like about the city now?
I very like in city there is a vending machine. I can to buying Dorito, and I very like to not have to sleep in the cave. It's warm in the house.
It's good that you enjoy warm houses and snacks. Do you have a favorite Dorito flavor?
I don't know the Dorito flavor. I just find the Dorito bag and eat everything, include the bag.
That's funny. Eating the bag is not so good. Do you like other snacks too?
Have some feedback here. The corrections are in Spanish, though. I would like if the corrections were in English. It's giving me a corrected version and then translating it to Spanish for the corrections. I like the overall flow of the conversation. I like that it kind of asks questions relevant to what I'm saying, even though what I'm saying is kind of crazy. And I like that I can end the lesson with my voice. That's cool. Day streak. Set streak goal. This is a good flow. Let's do, I want to do 7 days in a row. Yeah. Okay. Oh, here I can review. I really like that there are something where I can. Okay, you said I very like in city. Correction, I really like that in the city.
I really like that in the city there are vending machines where I can buy Doritos.
I really like that in the city there are vending machines where you can buy Doritos. So I have some review, follow-up review. It's kind of complete. That's a pretty good experience. All right, now we go to Hablo, and I was able to set my level at B1, which is pretty cool. So I'm at a very high level. Let's see if the lessons actually scale up. And this is very AI first, and the interface seems a little bit simpler than Speak. right? There's free chat with different topics and vocabulary review. And the settings are pretty straightforward. I honestly like the interface of this one a lot. Open chat on any topic. Let's do, a custom one. Let's do a custom one. Custom lesson about painting a house. I don't know where that's going to go, but let's see.
Hi, Luke. I'm excited to help you learn about painting a house. To start, let's talk about some important vocabulary related to painting. What do you think is the first step in painting a house?
I would say that if you're wanting to paint a house, you need to choosing the color first. And maybe if there is painting on the house, you need to chipping off the old paint.
Great start, Luke. Let me help you improve those sentences. How about this? If you want to paint a house, you need to choose the color first. If there is old paint on the house, you should chip it off. Now, let's focus on some key vocabulary related to painting a house. The first word is prep.
Prep. I want to prep the house by chipping off the old painting, then choosing the color of house.
Perfect. Luke, that's a great sentence. Just a small correction. Instead of the old painting, it's better to say the old paint. So you can say, I want to prep the house by chipping off the old paint and then choosing the color. Now, let's practice a fill-in-the-blank exercise.
Before painting a house, you need to eat the old paint.
Do you mean before painting a house, you need to scrape off the old paint?
Wow. Yeah, that is what I should have said. I like that the corrections are in line. It's not an overload of corrections. And the conversation flow is pretty good. And the idea that I can do a custom lesson is very cool. That's very cool.
Great. The answer is chip off. So the full sentence would be, before painting a house, you need to chip off the old paint. Now, let's move on to a sentence rearrangement exercise. Here are the words need, you, first, to, paint, choose, the, color. Can you rearrange these words to form a correct sentence?
Okay, this is cool because it's not just a random back and forth conversation about painting a house. It's structured in that I'm being challenged to rearrange words. I'm being challenged to fill in the blanks. So that's cool. It's structured and it also flows. And I have 5 minutes, I think 5 minutes per day, if I'm not mistaken. You first need to choose the paint color.
Almost there. The correct sentence is, you need to choose the color first.
Yeah, I was right.
Let's practice some role play. Imagine you are giving advice to a friend who wants to paint their house.
I like that there are a large variety of topics to choose from. I like the way that things are structured. I really like that you can create a custom lesson. I like the interaction in the class. I like that it's not just a random conversation and that it has structure, that there's good feedback, relevant feedback, and it's structured in that it's more like a lesson than a random conversation with little exercises about the custom topic. I think that's pretty cool. I like that it kind of included a role play. It could have been extended. But overall, I think this is a pretty good experience, a surprisingly good experience, honestly. My expectations were kind of low, but I'm surprised by how good the lesson experience is. Of course, the actual, let's say, naturalness of the teacher's voice is not great, but I can kind of look past that for the overall flow of the lesson. I honestly like this quite a bit. The custom lesson thing is what puts it over for me. That's a really unique feature, and it's easy, and you could do it about anything. Painting a house, that's just a random thing I came up with. Very cool. Let's open up Praktika. I've reviewed this one, I think, twice before? 2 times? I think the first time was a sort of meh, and then the second time was much more impressive. So I could do next lesson. I think that's what I did last time. I want to do practice, and I'm going to choose social media. Okay, I've selected...
Hey, Luke, how's your day been so far?
Noob. This is the character I selected before. So let's try this out. Noob. Very funny. The cool thing about this one is you can make it a video call, which is very interesting. Hey, how's it going?
Great to hear. Today, we're diving into the impact and influence of social media, especially platforms like Instagram and TikTok. Do you think social media has a mostly positive or negative effect on society? Why?
In my think, social media have a very positive affecting on society. There is no downsides.
That's an interesting perspective, but don't you think social media can also spread misinformation or create unrealistic beauty standards, especially on Instagram? How would you respond to someone who says these are serious downsides? Also, just a quick note, instead of in my think, say I think or in my opinion, and use effect while there's noun instead of affecting. Would you like to try rephrasing your answer?
No, I can review and continue. People who saying the problems of social media are looking in the short term, and I am focused on the long term of impact of social media to connect human people. You can't make the omelet without break the few eggs.
I see your point. You believe the long-term benefits, like connecting people globally, outweigh short-term problems. But is it really true that the ends justify the means? What about mental health issues among teenagers caused by social media pressure? Shouldn't we be more careful? By the way, let me help you with a few corrections. Instead of people who saying, use people who say, try. The people who talk about the problems of social media are only looking at short-term effects. And instead of impact of social media to connect human people, try the impact of social media in connecting humans around the world. How do you think platforms like TikTok influence young people's self-esteem and confidence?
Let's just click on this little light bulb here. What does that do? What happens when I tap on that? Okay, I'm not sure about that. Oh, okay, it gives me a suggestion. Example of what you can say. Yes, I think social media companies should do more to protect users' mental health. Okay, so it gives me a recommendation of what I could say. I like the emoji reactions to what I'm saying. Feedback, I can tap on feedback here. Okay, maybe I need to pay for feedback. All right, well, it'd be nice to get a little more feedback. Maybe some feedback for free, like 1 tip for free and 2 I have to pay for, something like that. But okay. But the overall interaction is great, and I love this yellow guy. I mean, that's obviously not the only teacher you can choose. There are many teachers, but he might be the coolest English teacher I've ever met.
We discussed the impact and influence of social media, focusing on Instagram and TikTok.
Good recap.
Language notes. You sometimes mixed up singular plural forms. Every children should be every child. Watch out for verb forms. Have in their time some danger thing could be face dangers at different times. Remember to use affect as noun versus or affect affecting as verb. Engagement. You shared your opinions confidently, responded well to feedback, and kept the conversation going with personal views.
I don't know exactly what and where the limits are, but I like the interaction. For this one, I think, the overall structure is good. The practice is helpful. It's relevant. The feedback is good. The end of lesson summary is good. The option to make it like a video call is cool. I'm not crazy about having such strict limits on getting feedback, but I get it. They need to make money. I think this is a pretty developed app. They have a lot of features, and it's pretty comprehensive. I believe they track the tutors that you use, your growth, the memory that the tutor has of you, although I haven't actually tested that, so I can't say much about it because I think it's a premium feature, and I'm just testing free features. But overall, a pretty solid experience, definitely. Okay, now let's do Speak and Learn English. One thing that I like right from the beginning is that I have very clearly what my daily limit is, 5 minutes a day. All right, I know I have 5 minutes today. It's very upfront. Okay, that's how much I can use for free. Progress, all of these apps, I have to say, do have a lot of similarities in that they have streaks, they have vocabulary review, they have your kind of feedback from lessons. So there's a lot of similarity in these apps. And each one has their own unique standout features, I think, but there are also things that they all seem to share. So let's try a lesson here. We could do a free talk, but I want to do, let's try, this one looks really interesting. Let's try historical events. Lecture and practice, these are the exercises. Wars, revolutions, discoveries, inventions, using past simple for historical facts, okay?
Hi there. Let's dive into some English practice today. We'll focus on using the past simple tense to talk about historical facts. To start, the past simple tense is used to describe actions that happened at a specific time in the past. For example, the Wright brothers flew the first airplane in 1903. Let's try a simple exercise.
I do like, and I think it's interesting that this is not just starting with a conversation, but it's teaching me something first. So there's some content first, and then I'm practicing what I learn. I think that's why this part is called the lecture part.
Can you make a sentence about a famous historical figure using the past simple tense?
Franklin D. Roosevelt is one of the most famous president because he do many popular social program in United States.
Let's adjust it a bit to use the past simple tense correctly. Franklin D. Roosevelt was one of the most famous presidents because he did many popular social programs in the United States. Now, can you try another sentence about a historical figure using the past simple tense?
Albert Einstein invented the moon.
Great choice. Here's a start. Albert Einstein developed the theory of relativity. Now, can you try to make a sentence about Albert Einstein using the past simple tense?
Albert Einstein discovered the moon was made from cheese.
Let's adjust it a bit for clarity. Albert Einstein developed the theory of relativity, but he did not discover that the moon was made of cheese. Now, let's try another sentence about a historical event. Can you think of one and use the past simple tense?
If I go to my historical events lesson, I can see the whole lesson. Can I see the feedback from the lesson? No, I can't see the feedback from the whole lesson. Maybe I'm not looking in the right place. Overall, I'm not quite sure where the feedback would show up. Maybe I have to click on the lesson in order to see it here. The lesson experience is good. I like the concept of doing a lecture and then a practice. So I think the teacher needs to do a better job of making sure you get to the practice, or maybe it could be broken so that you spend 2.5 minutes on lecture, 2.5 minutes on practice, no matter what, right? So I like that concept. I think it's important to learn before you practice. Or if the app is just practice, 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 then you're not learning as much as you could or should learn. But the interaction is good and the teacher is pretty good, and you can choose between different teachers. All right, very interesting. All right, now let's check out TalkPal. TalkPal. Okay, so the homepage here looks like basically premium content. It would be nice to have one thing for free that I could try, right? You don't know how good it is, so why would I pay for something if I don't know how good it is? So I need to try one first and see how amazing it is, and then I'm more likely to pay for it, right? But I can chat here on this tab. Okay, progress. So I'll click on chat here. And it looks like this is from my previous conversation when I was testing this yesterday.
Like carrying a heavy backpack all day without a break. Have you ever tried finding a small ritual or activity that helps you let some of that feeling out safely?
Okay, so this looks like it's just continuing a continuous thread of conversation. I was doing this as a test yesterday, and this is feedback. Your message, when the anger bubbles up, I just push it down and bury it. I did say that. So the corrected one is the same. So it's not really a correction, is it? And then I said, I am a very angry person in my heart. And the correction is, I'm a very angry person at heart. That is a good correction. The phrase in my heart is not commonly used to express a characteristic or feeling. Not exactly right, but let's keep going with this. I never really tried to find a daily ritual. I just hold my fists tight together and bear the anger and furious emotional inside. This is how I do it.
Holding your fists tight sounds like a physical way to cope, but I wonder if it's tiring for you. If you were to imagine your ideal way to ease that anger, what would it look like?
Maybe the ideal way to ease my anger is to get in one of those big rubber balls filling with air, like a hamster ball, and go to the top of a large mountain and rolling down the mountain very fast. This would make me feel better in my thinking. Okay, so let's see if I got feedback on the last one.
Now that's a wild and fun image, like your own personal roller coaster therapy session. If you could pick any place in the world for your mountain rolling adventure, where would it be?
Okay, so my previous message and then the corrected message and then the explanation is pretty good. The adverb form of tightly should be used instead of the adjective tight because it describes how the fists are held. Yes, that's good. I would like to roll down Mount Kilimanjaro as fast as possible and then see what happens. Maybe if I enjoyed that, do Mount Everest. But this is interesting because it's just a continuous chat that seems to go on forever, and every day I can talk a little bit. It's quite limited. That's the thing. It's pretty limited. And I'm not really seeing the same level of insights. There are streaks, like the other apps' stats. Looks like 4 minutes per day. Overall feedback. Okay, daily feedback. Your sentences are generally clear and correct, but you might want to work on varying your sentence structures. For example, and then it's giving me specifics. I like that. That's pretty good. I'm not crazy about how this is just a continuous chat that seems to go on forever. I can't really test out these individual modes, but it would be cool to interact with characters like Cleopatra or to do a live call mode. I'd like to test those out, but I can't. And I have no idea what to do with this because it's all premium. So this is very heavy with premium content and it's so limited, it's hard to say how good it is, right? But in terms of the actual quality of the back and forth, I feel like it's not the best interaction. And it's not quite clear what we're talking about. It's not very structured, right? So that I would take a point away for that. All right, so this is Hallo. Very funny name for an app. Hallo! Sometimes I do this voice. When I see the moon, I say, hello, hello. It's like a 1930s telephone conversation when they have the phone and they can't reach the person on the other line. Hello, hello. Anyway, that's what the app is called. Hallo, Hallo. So I have Insta AI, free for all conversation. Just a free-flowing conversation, I guess. Lesson 1. Let me click on Lesson 1, saying hello and goodbye. Daily limit is 3 minutes.
Welcome to our lesson. Let's start with vocabulary. Hello.
I know this word. This is too basic for me. Can we talking about something more advanced?
Hi.
Hi.
Good morning.
Good moo. Okay, I don't know what this is. I don't need to learn how to say hello. I want to watch an ad. That's what I was just about to say that. I want to watch an ad. All right, let's start Insta AI. That's what I want to do. Let's practice just a freestyle conversation at my level. 2 minutes left.
Hi, Luke. How are you doing today?
I'm doing very, very well, but I'm very depressing about my English, which is so bad and so terrible. And yesterday, a man on the street asked me a question. I answer, and he did not understanding what I say, and he laughed at me. And then other people gather around me in a circle, and they all laughing at me. And that makes me feeling very sad. So I'm hoping 3 minutes per day is enough to fix my English.
I'm sorry to hear that. It's okay to feel sad. Practice helps. What do you like to do?
I like to go surfing, although I never have gone to the surfing before. And I like to cleaning my windows on my house to make them very clean.
Surfing sounds fun. Cleaning windows is good too. Do you like the beach?
I don't like the beach, but I love surfing. So I think maybe I have to have somebody carry me across the beach, then to throw me in water so that I can go surfing and then carry me back. I can't bear the beach.
That's a funny idea. Maybe you can try surfing in a pool first. What do you think?
Oh, yes, I very like this idea. Can you give me some feedback on my English?
Your English is good. You use simple words well. Keep practicing, and you will improve.
Your English is good. You use simple words well. Keep practicing, and you will improve. That's not good feedback. That's terrible feedback. It's not specific at all. This is, not great feedback. Great job. You practiced 3 minutes. Come back tomorrow or subscribe to practice more. So 3 minutes is very limited. The free talk doesn't seem to have good feedback at all. This is so basic. I would want my first lesson to be, everybody knows hello, right? No English learning program starts with hello. Maybe for pronunciation, but it's too basic. It's too basic. And these, I don't know if they're good or not because I can't try them. For some of these apps, what I'm suggesting is, hey, give people a little bit more to try so then they know if it's compelling. If I can't try any, then what am I going to pay for? Why would I want to pay for something if I can't even try it out? And if the free experience is so limited and has such poor feedback that I have no reason to use it, then again, who's going to pay for this? This is, I think, the worst one. All right, so here's my quick overall ranking of these, and then we'll get to the comparison with ChatGPT. At the bottom, Hallo. Not a great experience, not very good feedback, very limited. You can't test out basic stuff for free. Overall, just not good. The next one up the list is TalkPal. Some decent feedback. The interaction is okay, but again, very, very limited. There's really not much you can try, and I'm not crazy about the forever conversation. It's not very structured, and it makes me feel a little bit confused and makes me think, well, if it's a forever conversation, why don't I just talk to ChatGPT? Next up, and I'll put these two kind of together, Speak and Speak and Learn English, or Learna AI. I'm not exactly sure what it's called. Speak and Learn English or Learna AI. These are much better learning experiences. Again, there are some limits, but the interaction is pretty good. The feedback is pretty good. There are some things I'm not crazy about. For example, with Speak, the language setting issues and maybe the depth of the feedback. It doesn't feel that I'm talking with a really smart teacher in a lot of ways. Same thing with Speak and Learn English. These are sort of in the middle. Not amazing experiences, but also not bad. One thing I do like about Speak and Learn English or Learna AI, I like that it has this structured feeling, right, of having a lecture and then practice. The issue is, with the limitations, you can't, or at least I wasn't able to actually do the second half. So I think they need to work on the structure, but I like the idea of having a structured lesson. At the top of the list, and I'm just going to put them on the same level, Praktika and Hablo. I like these both for different reasons. Praktika feels like a mature app. In other words, it's very rich in features, right? You can do a lot of stuff. You can practice with a lot of avatars. You can try a lot of different things, right? And you can have the video call. I like that. I love the noob avatar. That's a lot of fun. The feedback, I think, is pretty good because I've tried it in the past, but I wasn't able to get feedback in the lesson when I tested it this time. There was feedback, but I couldn't see it. So I'm not sure if that's changed, but I've tested it in the past and the feedback was quite good. Overall, the back and forth experience is good and it has some structure to it, which I like. Now, there are a couple of things I really like about Hablo. This is the one that really surprised me because I hadn't even heard of it before. Number one, the custom lesson. To just say a topic and then it creates a lesson on the fly. And it's a pretty good lesson. With a role play, with exercises, with fill in the blanks. I didn't expect that. So there's real structure there. And it's structured on the fly. With a custom lesson about painting a house. That's pretty cool. The structured part is very important. That's what makes it not feel like a random conversation. Right? I'm actually working on some things, getting some really good feedback. I'm kind of moving through a unique experience, and I'm improving. And it has that useful structure to challenge me to work on specific skills. The feedback is also good. So I'm very surprised by Hablo. Again, just because I hadn't heard of it before, but I think it's worth checking out. Praktika's kind of been there for a while, definitely check that one out, but Hablo is the surprise one. If this kind of app is your thing, then I think it is absolutely worth checking out. Now, how do all of these compare to ChatGPT? I think you know what I'm going to say. I'm going to say, well, ChatGPT is better overall because it's an open thing. And if you have really good prompts and you know how to use it, you can get more out of it. Plus, you can use that for other things in your life. But some people want to have structure, a plan to follow, lessons, individual lessons, where they can just go in, click on some stuff, practice a bit, learn some words and phrases, and then they're done. They get their streak for the day. The app interface with the streaks, with the calendar, with the review words, with the grammar focus, right? With the individual lessons on different topics. I get it. I get it. Not everybody likes to use custom prompts and likes to figure out how to make the most of a tool like ChatGPT, likes to have such an open experience with endless possibilities. I like that. I know a lot of people like that, but not everybody does. So ask yourself that. Do I want to have to think about which prompt I need to use or how to direct my own learning? If the answer is no, then maybe Praktika and Hablo are the best options for you. It really depends on what kind of learner you are, what kind of person you are. And it's okay to have either preference. To prefer a more, let's say, hands-off experience in an app, great. Go for Praktika or Hablo. Try those. Or go for ChatGPT if you like to guide your own learning. I think overall, none of these apps are going to be better than using ChatGPT if you like using ChatGPT for stuff. But again, that's a matter of preference. Let me know what you think in the comments. Which one of these, try them out. Which one of these do you think is best? Do you agree with my list? Specifically, what do you think of the surprise one? The one that I was surprised by? Hablo. What do you think about it? I would really love your thoughts in the comments. If you haven't done so already, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. Also, if you want to really get serious about your English and you want to break through this wall of just not making progress, in my opinion, it's not going to be just an app or just some prompts. It's input and output, learning and practicing. That's why I designed the 90-day program, English Fluency in 90 days. Over 50 hours of video lessons, plus practice with custom GPTs, custom AIs, to practice assignments and hold you accountable. And you get my WhatsApp. And if you're not happy about your results after 90 days, you can get a full refund. You can get a full refund. I think it's a pretty good deal. So check that out in the links in the description, and I will see you in the next one.